Wow, thank you for the thorough introduction, man. Straight to the point. I know we're, like you said, we have a great lineup, and myself, and we don't have a lot of time, so we'll get right to it. First of all, thank you so much, guys, for coming, and please give yourself a round of applause, because you guys took your time to come here today, so thank you. All right. What have I promised to talk about? I asked like 6 minutes ago, and apparently, what was the topic? Ekahau, Wi-Fi, and the universe. So, yeah, sounds reasonable. Let's get right to it, man. Look at this. All of last night spent with PowerPoint animations. So, in fact, this is what I was supposed to present at the CWNP conference couple of weeks ago in San Diego. If you don't know what it is, check it out, CWNP conference. It's a good conference. You should go there as well. But they give me 13 minutes to present, out of which they stole 5, so I was left with 8, so I presented none of this. And now I thought I had 45 minutes, but in fact I have 16 minutes left, so let's see how far we go. Quickly about myself, I'm Jussi. Who here is on Twitter? Can raise hands? Wow, that's maybe why you know about this event, but thank you for being on Twitter. It's really good for Wi-Fi. If you're not on Twitter, you should go there. So that's my Twitter handle. That's a good place to start. See who I follow, because I follow all the Wi-Fi nerds like Keith and Petri and all these guys. And these guys know the latest and greatest stuff about Wi-Fi before anybody else. So follow Keith, follow Petri, follow these guys, and you will know very quickly as well. And yeah, this week was Halloween. I hope you guys had a good time. Clearly our marketing department at least did. So anyhow, so here's the deal. This is what we're going to talk about. CWNE or Wi-Fi expert. Here's a Wi-Fi expert. And here's bad Wi-Fi. And this is the dilemma in the industry. But before we go there, let's talk about flexibility for a second. Because I just figured last night and this morning, I woke up at 5 a.m. and I thought, shoot. Flexibility is very important in this life. Yesterday, anybody been here? What is this place? Anybody? It's not Starbucks, but good question. This is Restaurant Story in southeastern London. It's a Michelin star restaurant, and I just happened to find it through Google, and it looked like a nice place to go to. So I booked a table for 6, so to entertain some of the presenters and all that stuff. We thought that it might be a good idea to get together the night before and kind of talk things through. Okay. Yesterday also ended the WBA Wireless Congress in Heathrow. Was anybody there? And do we have anybody from WBA here? Ian, thanks for being there. I thought we did, but apparently we don't. Anyway, so from Heathrow, we started going here, and it was something like this. So all of us were stuck into a small Uber car, and in 2 hours sat in London traffic, and it was painful, but eventually we got there. And of course, because it was a London place, we took gin and tonics, and everybody was happy in our table that was reserved for 6. However, it all was good and well until this happened. We met this guy. So it turned out it was 7 of us. It wasn't 6. And I had reserved the table for 6. And we were sitting in a table that would nicely fit 9 people. Enter our waiter. He says, "You are 7. This is a party of 6 table. We cannot sit 7 people in this restaurant. You are in a Michelin star restaurant. You reserve this restaurant for 6 people. No 7. And I was like, okay, but clearly this table seats like easily 8 people. No, you don't understand. You have never been in a Michelin star restaurant. This is nicer. This is nicer restaurant. So just one word that came to my mind was this. I mean, the place looked real fine and all that, but this is kind of the feeling we started to get of the place. And how did we feel? This is an exact picture of that situation. Is that right, Keith? Yes. Just to illustrate that more, that's Sami right here from Sky. He wasn't very happy about the situation. So I negotiated for 5 minutes and tried to explain that, you know, we are here to spend whatever your menu costs. So you know, £1,500, and you know, we'd like to spend £2,000 if possible, if we could seat 7 instead of 6. No, you don't understand. But we fit here. No, Michelin star. So this happened. We got kicked out of the restaurant. We got kicked out of the restaurant. Okay. No, well, that's all good and well. So. Anybody been here? Anybody know what this is? Martin, yeah. What is this?
Most famous restaurant in Copenhagen, voted #1 once?
Yes, for 4 years, this has been rated as the world's best restaurant. It's called Noma, it's in Copenhagen. I was there like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. And one in our group could not, she just didn't like seafood. So she didn't complain or mention it to the restaurant, but the restaurant guys noticed that she wasn't eating all of her dishes. It was like 20 dishes, and at dish number 5, they were like, okay, clearly you're not into seafood, so let us prepare you something else. So they prepared a whole different 15 courses than to the rest of the group. And that's the kind of service you get, right? Both are Michelin star restaurants, blah, blah, blah. But that's the difference between, you know, a place that I used just for the toilet, which was Restaurant Story. That's the difference of that place and Noma. Just saying. So if you're on Twitter, please take a picture of this and include Restaurant Story in this tweet. Not that I'm bitter, but that's. I'll get to the point. I'm here to talk about flexibility, but just because this happened last night, it's just an illustrative example. So we ended up in a restaurant called Ivy, which was next door, and they were polite enough when they kicked us out. They said go to Ivy, and we went to Ivy, and you know, everything turned out good. So just this guy though. Let's not be this guy, and this is also sometimes, you know, lack of flexibility is what can get us, whether it's restaurants or Wi-Fi. And let's not, when we do Wi-Fi, when we work with other people, let's not be a Restaurant Story, okay? So that's about flexibility. So why am I talking about flexibility and this restaurant? What's the whole story here? Oh, I wish my slides went forward. It's because of the whole concept here. Wi-Fi Design Day was all about flexibility. So when we started this concept with open reality, we were like, yeah, there's like how it started is we started thinking, which show should we go to? Like, where should we exhibit, right, Sam? And we were thinking, there's no technical Wi-Fi shows in all of UK. And we were like, okay, I guess, but it would be nice to get technical people together and get them to meet and stuff like that. And then we just, you know, happened to run across this idea. We were brainstorming, and why don't we do our own event and all that? And it wasn't like it was corporate policy or that anybody mandated us. But I guess we were flexible enough to make that happen. I mean, these guys look pretty flexible. That's the open reality group, right? And hashtag jumping for Chet, check it out. It's Keith's thing. Do it. Speaking of flexibility, today, the speakers at this event. This guy's Peter Mackenzie. How much, Peter? How much were you paid to be here? 0. Thank you, Peter, for being here. So this guy took his time and put effort on making his presentation, came here, we paid him 0. That's flexibility for you. This guy, Fernay, same thing. He's a Wi-Fi mastermind, a CWNE, Ekahau trainer. We'll talk here today. And he's an Ekahau trainer, but clearly I think he needs a sidekick. I mean, Fernay?
I got a sidekick.
Oh, you do now. That's good to hear, man. Because anyway, thank you for coming over. Really appreciate that. And say with this guy, this is the only guy that gets paid here in addition to me, because he works for Ekahau, as do I. So we get our salary for doing something like that. Now, Nick, dude, you also need a sidekick. Those dongles, they. Along with the presenters, you know who this guy is? Who's in this car? Is Tobias here? You are? Somewhere back there? Yes, thank you for joining. Actually, you can't see him, but this is a standard issue corporate car for Aruba Networks. I kid you not, any employee gets this, and if you zoom in real closely, you can actually see that it is Tobias back there. Zoom in some more. That's the man right there. Look how happy he is in a Ferrari. I can't blame him though. Then there's this guy. This is not him. So normal people are born this way, right? And I should actually mention that Tobias flew in here from, let's rewind a bit. Tobias flew in here from where?
Amsterdam.
How much did we pay for your tickets?
0.
And what do you do at Aruba?
What do I do?
Yeah? What's your job title?
CTO and pre-sales director.
CTO and pre-sales director of Aruba comes here for freaking free. So thank you, Tobias. He takes a day from driving his Ferrari and comes to see us and present here. So that's pretty nice. So this is how normal people are born, but this is how true presenters are born. Steven Heinsius, are you here?
I'm here.
Thank you for coming, man. How much did we pay you?
Apart from the candies and the cookies, nothing.
Yeah, and I may have promised you a hat, but I think it's going to the audience. Anyway, so Stephen was born this way. That's the exact moment of his birth, and if you look real closely, the reason Stephen is here, not only is he a nice guy, but he's actually in the Cisco Speaker Hall of Fame. So he travels around the world aside from his day job, and he's the highest rated speaker at Cisco. So he goes to Cisco's largest conference, he speaks there. Now he's here today, and he's flexible enough to come. We paid him 0 as well. He's here because of you guys, so thank you for showing up. What about this guy? Keith, thank you for joining as well. Managing Director of WLAN Pros, perhaps the most best-known Wi-Fi influencer in the world. He was, starting up CWNP organization back in the day, and as his side job, he also heads all of Ekahau's training efforts. Who here is an ECSC or Ekahau Certified Survey Engineer? Wow, thank you, like 1/3 of the crowd. How many courses do you and your team do this year? 150, something like that? 150 4-day courses. You just finished one here with Open Reality this week, didn't you? So it's all around the world. It's just about how to design good Wi-Fi, and it happens to use our tools, which Keith both instructs and badmouths for 4 days. Is that a fair assessment? Yeah. and not only does he do that, but he's also a pretty fast surveyor at times, as you can tell. So if you ask me what was I doing this morning between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, it was these awesome PowerPoint animations. But I'm telling you, there's a better way for faster site surveys, and labor is so cheap in Finland that we'd rather have labor than segways, How much time do I have left? Because I haven't even gotten to the...
About 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes, perfect. So, however, the most important thing, like I said, is that these guys were flexible enough to come here. So, again, don't be Restaurant Story. Don't be pretentious. Be a Noma. So why do I keep repeating this? Think of all the freaking Wi-Fi in the world, and not just your corporate office, but the airports, the hotels, everywhere. Anybody been in South, not to discriminate, but anybody been in South Europe for vacation lately? Yes. And the hotels there, let's say it wasn't a Marriott or it was a smaller hotel. How's the Wi-Fi in those kind of places? Yeah.
But
It's
also with a big change, it doesn't matter.
exactly. So how much of all the Wi-Fi in the world, in Asia, Europe, here, America, how much of all that Wi-Fi is bad? Imagine, take a number. Like at home, it's usually pretty good, but how much of enterprise Wi-Fi is bad? And for bad, we need a definition. Like let's say 10% or more of the users are seeing problems 10% of the time or more. So that's a pretty strict, like it should work 90% of the time for 90% of the users. How much Wi-Fi like that? How much good Wi-Fi like that? How much bad Wi-Fi? Anybody? A number? 90% bad. Exactly. I was coming with maybe like 80%, but similar numbers. So is it 20, 50, 80? Let's say it's 80%. So let's be gentle here. 80 freaking% of Wi-Fi in this world is bad. And how much bad Wi-Fi is that exactly? So if we think of the annual enterprise market of Wi-Fi and then we say average cost of APs, we can say that, okay, enterprise APs, number of enterprise APs deployed in 10 years, I just, rough number, let's say 100 million. It can be 200 million. I'm sure Tobias or Steven have a better number. But let's say it's somewhere in the range of 100 million APs deployed in the last 10 years, if that's fair. 100 freaking million APs. So, good Wi-Fi, 20 million APs. Bad Wi-Fi, obviously, 80 million APs. And here's the dilemma. Here's where flexibility is required. Look at these guys. They're pretty flexible. CWNE is like a really trained Wi-Fi expert. 300 of those. I have nothing to do with our organization. I have 0 certificates, so it's not we. You guys just hit 300, didn't you? At the CWNP conference last week, and it was Robert Boardman. Google West Coast Wi-Fi to find out more about Robert Boardman. Oh, yeah, that's my Q&A session startup timer, which won't start now. But here's the dilemma. 100 million APs, 300 Wi-Fi experts in the world. It's a bit of a stretch, would you say? Again, between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock this morning. So forgive me for the animations here. But anyway, this is a dilemma, and the gap is stretching. We can't train enough Wi-Fi experts at the pace that Wi-Fi is growing. Wi-Fi is growing a lot faster than we are training more experts. And that's just one side of the story. You guys are not just Wi-Fi people anymore. You have a lot more to do. Not only do you do your Wi-Fi, but actually Wi-Fi runs such a big part of your business that you end up doing location tracking, BLE, Zigbee. Oh, you're the wireless guy. Why don't you also handle all of these other technologies and 5G and everything while you're at it, right? I mean, it's wireless, right? It's easy. So this is a real dilemma. And for that, not only do we need more experts, Keith is with his team, like 150 4-day trainings this year alone. And CWNP is doing the same amount. I don't know how much they're doing, but a lot, and all that. So we're doing that. And that's kind of obvious. But here's the thing. How about we also start engaging those people? You guys are experts in Wi-Fi. But how about we start engaging the people who are not as well? Getting engaged in Wi-Fi. Usually, until now, to me, it's been more or less of a 0-100 or 0-1 kind of a thing. Either you know Wi-Fi and you do it, or you don't and you shy away kind of a thing. Or you don't know what you're doing and you still do Wi-Fi. But let's say it's either experts do Wi-Fi and then non-Wi-Fi guys have nothing to do with it because they are afraid. This is what we need to get to. We need to start involving the people that have less experience. We need to open up this privileged club of Wi-Fi guys. We need to open it up and we need to start involving the basic IT guys, but those guys that are not Wi-Fi specific, how about we start, involving those guys as well in the process? So, engagement, and this is actually an accident. This was supposed to come for the CWNP presentation, but check this out. This is the definition of engagement, and this was the example, very, very timely. Britain's continued engagement in open trading. Whatever your opinion of all of this is, it's just a funny coincidence. So these guys, the non-Wi-Fi experts, how about they did basic tasks like collected the analysis data for experts to analyze, and then they collaborated with the experts. But we're missing something. We're missing, first of all, more base level education for these guys about Wi-Fi. Keith and the other guys have done a fantastic job of providing tons of content for these guys for free. But we are to blame at Ekahau, because our tools are not easy enough for these guys to use. Our tools are easy enough if you use them frequently, but if you use them once every 6 months, there's no chance that these guys could use our tools. We need to do something about it. These guys also, need more effective tools and tools that ease them out, like, artificial intelligence. It's coming, but today it's more marketing than reality. It's getting there. It's getting there. And there needs to be this expert admin collaboration. More of that. So, in a nutshell, here's what needs to happen. Experts do expert stuff, admins and non-experts do the non-expert stuff. These guys, they have healthy feet. They can walk, can't they? They can perform a validation site survey if we encourage them, if we give them easy enough tools. They can even do basic analysis. I mean, they can tell whether there's color on the heat map or gray, can't they? I mean, these are smart people. They're just not super trained on Wi-Fi. So then as an expert, you could say, well, but then I'll be out of a job, won't I? Because it's less job for me. You remember the guys stretching over the bridge? I don't think that's going to happen. Your jobs are getting more and more complicated. You will have more and more Wi-Fi networks to troubleshoot, to optimize, to design. All of the design work, advanced troubleshooting, everything should be done here, because you're the only guys that can do it. And let's face it, in the last month, who has traveled on site to troubleshoot a customer Wi-Fi problem? How much do you love that? Do you do like enough of that? Would you like to do more or less of that? Less. Exactly. So it would be nice if those guys that are on the freaking site with their healthy feet, they would do this and collect the data for you. And then you guys could be at the back office and, I'll take a look at that after I come back from gym or something like that. So that's where I think things should be going. But again, we are to blame at Ekahau. We're making surgical knives. And sometimes a Band-Aid would be enough. And also, it's not just Ekahau, it's the industry. This is probably the world's most used Wi-Fi application. How much does this say to a non-Wi-Fi guy? Nothing. It's a great tool, but it says nothing to the entry-level Wi-Fi guy. This says something. Oh, and I'm sure you heard. But this says something, but it just gives you a number, right? So there needs to be a bit more than after that. It's our fault. We do that kind of stuff. Maybe we should be doing this kind. Oh, let me. Is that? What is this here? Yeah, that's better. So not to spill the beans. So maybe this kind of stuff where there's no hanging dongles and driver problems, not just that, but maybe there would be an easier to use user interface and stuff like that. Maybe that would help from the Ekahau perspective. The industry needs to change altogether, but we at Ekahau we'll try to help. So what? I'm already over time, so Sam is looking at me like -1 minute, get out of here. So to conclude, take a look at your processes, how you're doing this today. Try to identify what's taking the bulk of your time and how much of your time are you using to do the actual expert work, and how much are you. I'm a huge fan of walking, but how much of your time goes to just walking or traveling from one place to another? And how much of those tasks that you're doing are tedious routine tasks that could be maybe automated by scripting or better tools or done by somebody else and not you? So maybe we could engage the on-site people more, the network administrators. And think about what's currently holding us back. Some of it is tools, some of it is processes, stuff like that. So as a next step, please join us. Not to spill the beans, but let's discuss more, for example, on the breaks and after this and via email and phone and with the Open Reality guys on how we can better start collaborating, experts and the administrators, so that you would do more meaningful stuff, less routine, less traveling, less panic. So with that, who here has an Ekahau Sidekick device? Wow, thank you for being customers. Let's a third. That's more than last year, because it was just announced last year. And now those devices are actually shipping without a 2-month delay as well, so that maybe have something to do with it. But so if you have a Sidekick, join our beta program. Mikko, are you here? Can you please stand up? This guy here heads all of our product management. He works in Helsinki, and he also heads our beta program for our upcoming product that I'm not authorized to talk about. If you have a Sidekick, please go and talk to Mikko if you're interested in joining us in not just beta program, but also how it's gonna perhaps change your processes and the way you do your work and stuff like that, the way you collaborate with people. So during the break, will we have an Ekahau a station somewhere with laptops and Sidekicks? Mikko is showing thumbs up. So yeah, join me and Mikko and leave your card and how about we start, it's a cliche, but we try to change the industry. How about that? And not just because we are good people, but also because we want to do more of the fun stuff and less of the panic, traveling stuff and all that. With that, Sam is about to violently throw me out. So thank you so much for your time, and a big hand to you guys and the presenters. Thank you for coming, and let's make it a great day.
Thank you very much, Jussi. While Stephen gets set up, has anybody got a question that they'd like to ask Jussi? I think we've got time for a couple of quick questions.
Better make up a question, man. If you don't have one, make up one.
Where did
Just
you learn your skills with PowerPoint?
In the same place I landed my skills in throwing these things, man. Yes, sir.
How's the acquisition going to change you?
How's the acquisition gonna change Ekahau? Great question, man. Oh, I do apologize. Can you hand it over to the gentleman back there? So, yeah, for those of you that don't know, real quickly, Ekahau was acquired by Ookla. Ookla makes speedtest.net, for example. How's that going to change Ekahau? And the Ookla EVP of technology was with us at the CWNP conference, and this was the first question everybody asked. And Ookla's EVP said, well, they have one task in mind, and that's stay the hell out of Ekahau's way. So that's one answer about it. The other one is there will be some quote unquote synergies later on that you will see also being productized. But our daily operations don't change. All of the management, all of the employees switched over under Ookla, but nothing has changed. So we are still out of Helsinki and Western Virginia. Ookla is out of Seattle and everywhere because they are very much a remote company. Nothing has changed. Everybody continues. Our plans continue as such, short to mid-term, and long-term we will see perhaps some improvements in our products that you can think of if you think about the portfolios of both companies.
Speed dial in the building.
Yes, the map will be replaced by a speed dial.